5152, turn 35. Runway 5 left, good tail 10501.
Clear for takeoff, 5 Bravo 2, full short 035.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Happy Wednesday afternoon. So that Delta we saw land a moment ago, Delta 2496 coming in from Salt Lake City, Utah. That A321 Neo, that masked Neo there. Got a Endeavor departing right now. Little CRJ. Having a cable malfunction here. Give me a second. So we wanted to get this show started a little on the early side here this afternoon due to the fact that the possibility of runway closures here tonight. Obviously, if we don't have any runway closures, we're good to go, but the chance of runway closures still upon us, unfortunately, due to the fact that obviously they're still doing the construction of runway 23 right, 5 left. So we'll see how tonight flows. Speaking of Flo the Flamingo. So hopefully everybody's had a wonderful start to your week. Again, starting a little on the early side here this evening. Give you guys a little extra something here. Again, runway closures probably a thing here a little later on. So I wanted to get you guys as much coverage as possible. So, that is United 2485 off to Newark, New Jersey. Judd, thank you so much for the support. Been with us for 8 months. Thank you so much. So much for hanging in there. Thank you for saying hello this afternoon. Greatly appreciate that. I know there's some folks that don't chat very often who are members of the show, and I want to thank all of them, of course. I want to thank all of you guys for being here. Kevin Kelly, good afternoon. Miss Ramona, Brian Lloyd, Pip Hastings, of course, and of course Mrs. Carolina's in here. Roberto. Again, good afternoon, everybody. Almost evening here. Again, if you guys just joined us, wanted to start a little early this evening. Again, the fear of having a runway closure here at around 7 o'clock due to the repairs to be made. So let me know if there's any adjustments that need to be made to ATC. We can adjust any of that audio if needed. It is still set up to where we had it last week, so.
5195, Delta left heading 035, 5 left, quick tail.
Hopefully that all sounds good to you guys.
Quick check right here.
Dale, good afternoon.
Hold short 5 left.
got another Endeavor up there. Gonna hold short. I need to move the tripod back just a little bit. Just a small smidgen. There we go. Seems to be a lot of static coming from the radio, even when it's not on. So I may have an issue with a wire here. I may have to order a better quality wire. Actually, I think it could be the fact that it's laid up against this power wire here could be the issue. Seems to go away when they talk, which is weird.
5195, right there, turn left, heading 035, right 5 left, clear tail. Heading 035, 5 left, clear for takeoff, Endeavor 5195.
Alright, so that's Endeavor 5195, ready to go. JetBlue 2283 gonna come in behind us over there. Gonna come in at 5 right. As Endeavor gets a move on here. Got a JetBlue pushing back. Down the way. Leveling off a little bit there before finally yanking back on the sticks. Sounds like we got Delta 2600 up next for arrival.
And there's 5195, contact departure.
Got to reopen flight radar here. There's Delta 2600. So Endeavor 5195, that departure there, they're headed off to Indianapolis. Next arrival is Delta 2699, of course, coming in from Minneapolis. A320-200. We have had some pretty gusty winds here today. I've noticed earlier in the day I would have loved to have been out here at the airport for sure, snagging some of those gusty arrivals for sure. hazy out here today as well.
444, you guys up?
We're ready.
Touch up 444 right tower, turn left, 035, right 5 right, clear for takeoff, 1060
All right, next arrival is going to be another Delta 2600 this time. Coming in from Atlanta, Georgia. It's going to be another A321-200. Second A321 of the day. That first one, our only masked Neo. Again, that one comes from Salt Lake City here in the fall.
Southwest 2665 Raleigh Tower, 5 left to the land. Let me know if you want to change to the right.
Yeah, we'll get the left side, clear line, southwest.
Heck yeah, Southwest going to do us a huge favor here. Going to stick 5 left. Think it is Southwest. Going to come in on our side. Second one so far that I've seen today already. Again, I got here early. Got here at like got here at 5:10-ish, 5:15. Left work significantly early today. Should have left at 3, to be honest. Didn't do a whole lot at work, unfortunately.
Off right down 32 for the land, 1060, monitor traffic, landing point 0.
Nice loud arrivals.
2600 right, show enable, Bravo to the ramp, contact ramp.
Right turn enable, Bravo ramp, Delta 26.
Yo, Gavin, what's up? Yeah, there's a lot of us. There's a lot of us named Brian. Hey, there's Matt Man. Good afternoon, Matt Man. All right, so we heard Southwest a minute ago. Continuing here on 5 left. Southwest 2665. A max 8 from Chicago, Midway. Going to be our next arrival here. Lots of clouds behind our arrivals tonight, unfortunately, so far. Really backlighting them out, unfortunately.
Glen 06010.
Southwest going to float on in gently. Very, very smooth touchdown for that max
8.
Barber. Good afternoon, good evening. JetBlue taking off in their A320. Everybody taking off very gently here this afternoon, looks like. Looks like no need for some quick and significant altitudes here this afternoon.
JetBlue 1386, contact portion. Roger, good day, JetBlue 1386.
JetBlue 1586. 1386, excuse me, off to JFK. Got another United starting up over here. Finishing up services there on the 777.
Raleigh Tower, runway 5 right, continue traffic with the position. Over 9904, Foxtrot Golf, call train, runway 5 right next to Charlie. Contact ground point on bus, traffic at a mile and a half out.
So, looking at flight radar here, it looks like if they do decide to shut the runway down, it looks like we'll have that FedEx 767 as our last possible arrival. Again, if they shut the runways down. The weather's nice, so chances of them shutting it down are probably about 98.8%. If the weather would have been rainy and stuff, we probably would have been okay, but I think tonight they'll shut the runways down. So that's why we started 30 minutes early here. If things continue to progress the way they are, we may start at 5:30 from here on out. Several days over the last couple of months I've been able to leave early, so we'll see.
991, Foxtrot Golf, Raleigh South, runway 5 right, block away. Jet 679, left turn out 4, right turn alpha, ground point 9. Left turn alpha 4, right turn alpha, ground point 9.
So you can see there, they're working on getting the 777 situated and finished. Still got one of the cargo doors open toward the rear. Got this lone American Eagle ready to go. 44 likes, thank you guys. Make sure you guys smash the like button. I need to change our pinned message there at some point. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and do that real fast. Since we did start early,
035, 5 left, clear for takeoff, Brickyard 4685.
Oh, Brickyard's ready to go. Hold on. new pinned message. Try to get to 150 today. We'll see what happens here. Early rotation for the American Eagle. I don't know what's going on with my camera, but it's keeping everything a lot darker than it should. I'm going to make a quick setting adjustment that we normally don't make. A lot of it has to do with the way the sun is shining on us here. All right, Republic Airways 4685, they're headed off to Nashville, Tennessee. Gonna head off to Music City. Looks like our next arrival is going to be Republic Airways 4630. Unless one of these ones from the south sneak in. Looks like Republic from Pittsburgh. Going to be our next arrival. That Embraer E175LR. We've got United getting ready to roll. Beth, good afternoon, good evening. Almost evening, I should say. 7 more minutes. Again, final finishing touches here going on the triple. Double 777 action here this evening. We've got Air France. They brought their 777 back. Get them ready to go back to Paris. Come on, dude.
0355
Cell phone don't want to charge. Charger ports messed up on it. Check our service here just to make sure everything is A-OK. We got perfect bars. Something's interfering with our service here at the moment. Lady Cat getting gifted a membership there by Mrs. Carolina. Hold on, I think I'm going to have to make a settings change here real quick. Oh, nope, now it's fine. Been a while since we've run into any service issues. Yeah, hold on. To make a quick service change, for whatever reason, it's going up and down. Hold on, give me a second here. Change that out there for a moment. See if we can stop whatever issues the network is having there. Alright, so it's got United ready to go. Republic Airways 5612 off to LaGuardia, our last departure there.
no good afternoon. That's 1238, short of Tower 1. United 1238, Raleigh Tower, 5 left 6, take off, turn left and 035, traffic 5 miles out. 035 left to take off, give or take off, United 1238.
Something's off with our camera today. Can't figure out what it is. There we go. Actually, I think it's just the atmosphere around here with all the rain we've had. So United, ready to go. United going to give us that turn and burn action. Lighting today is just off to the point where it's bothering me a little bit. Everybody being real gentle here on the departures this afternoon. All right, we have Republic coming in from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Let's find out where United's headed. United 1238 off to Newark, New Jersey. That's 737 MAX 8. Again, Republic Airways 4630 coming in from Pittsburgh. E175. Next arrival here. Distracted by something here. A lot of things seem to be off today. First marshalling shot of the day. Oh yeah, that's way off now. Hopefully I got that set back in place. Sorry, having some minor issues here. American Airlines 1904. Coming in from Charlotte, 25 minutes of flight time so far. They still have about 5 minutes left in their journey. As work, they get to work on this one. Got an American CRJ over here. Man, the sun is really, really bright. Good afternoon. Coming at us from California. Oh, man. Yeah, it's not the camera. It's definitely out here. It is very, very hazy off in the distance out there. The camera doesn't do it justice, but you'll see it. You can see there how hazy it actually is this afternoon. Thought maybe it was just me or the camera being weird, but it's not. PSA turn and burn. Oh, I can't look at the camera monitor. Sun's right behind our camera. Big equipment moving away from our Air France 777. Looks like they got those cargo handlers on the move. I'll get everything straightened out here in a minute. So that one's going to head off to Washington, D.C. via Reagan, I believe. It is JIA 5404. Off to Reagan. American Airlines 1904 going to be our next arrival here in just a minute. Try to see it. Got about another 30 seconds here. So American 1904 from Charlotte is going to be next. Republic Airways 4618 from LaGuardia is going to be following up Charlotte. If they don't go to the other side, there is that possibility. Again, expecting a runway closure here this afternoon or this evening. So we'll see how things go. 7 o'clock for that runway closure. We do have that FedEx 767 coming in about 10 minutes before that expected closure. Imagine that'll be the last real arrival there. Here for 5 left. I didn't want to do like we did last week and set up in the wrong place. Put all the light poles and trees in our way. Tonight, if the runway closes, that'll be the end of our day. Very short Wednesday show. May stick around for the sunset though. What a sunset we had on that Sunday. I'll pull out here and pick this one up and take them into their gate. Thank you, Christopher Brown, for the $4.99 super chat. I enjoy being out here for you guys. Hopefully soon you guys will see some changes. Hopefully real soon. We'll figure something out to do for you guys, but again, hopefully soon. Some pretty significant changes coming to the channel. I'm gonna try anyway. There you go. Gate. Jetway removed from the 777. What a silhouette. That should be our, I think that's going to be our thumbnail for the day. So Republic Airways 4618 did touch down on the behind us 5 right, unfortunately. Got a Southwest coming up from the south, though. Maybe we'll get lucky with another Southwest arrival over here. Got JetBlue, I believe, coming around, or is this United? United 1407 coming from Newark. They're 9 minutes out, but they are almost directly behind the airport here. Boy, the lighting is really, really different compared to Sunday now.
18 all the way down to Charlie, all the way down to Charlie and Route 19.
All the way to Charlie, Ground Point 9, Brickyard 4618.
AB, good afternoon. So if we do see Southwest over here, it looks like it's going to be Southwest 1901 coming in from Atlanta, Georgia. Another MAX. Hopefully they'll
South American 1998 Dreamer takeoff.
American 1998 Raleigh Tower. Turn left heading 035, running 5 left 60.
American 1998, so I believe they're headed back to Dallas.
5 left, American 1998.
TAP Air Portugal uses the XLRs. I'm trying to think, there's a couple others. I don't know if JetBlue has any of theirs yet. But I do know TAP Air Portugal does. They fly the XLR into Dulles. Nobody uses them out of here, of course. going to go 5 right, unfortunately. 777 getting ready to push back here. They got wing walkers heading out there. Looks like the door might still be open.
American 1998, contact portion.
Oh no, that was on the ground. That looked like a door was open. Somebody hanging out down there. American 1998, they are headed out to DFW. We're not going to get a double pushback here tonight between Air France and American here, like we had on Sunday. Air France has an American Eagle sitting in the way, as American 174 Heavy begins their push. That's right, Iberia. Does Austrian? Did we see the XLR Austrian while we were in Dulles? I can't remember. There are several airlines that use the XLRs for sure. Maybe somebody's radio is full of static here this afternoon. Seven 6, okay. I couldn't remember. I know we saw a couple different XLRs that weekend. So remember guys, we're trying to reach 150 likes today. If you guys are new and you haven't been here, or you haven't been here in a while, make sure you guys set your notifications to all. That way you guys know when we go live early, kind of like tonight. Went live at 5:30 instead of 6. So make sure if your notifications are set to all.
Southwest 1901 right 5 right to the wind. 5 right to the land, Southwest 1901.
Alright, the 777 getting ready to start engines here. That's my cue to be quiet for a minute while that happens. Enjoy. Jay, I don't know. I haven't decided on any more trips. Again, I got some things I got to handle here, but I want to get some stuff in the works, and I want to get it in the works soon. I want to get some things going for the remainder of the year, of course, and to get some things started for next year. Really want to plan things out for the next little while here. All right, enjoy the trip. Eagle, you guys just heard depart, lifting off very, very early. Say that I've ever been to Monroe. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. All right, we'll turn that back up here in just a minute as the American 777 gets ready to go here.
November 89er Mike, flight heading 110, maintain VFR at or below 2000. 10 and at or below 2000, 89er Mike. 967, flight heading 0355 left clear takeoff, 106010. 035, 5 left clear takeoff, Delta 967.
American 777 ready to go. right, Air France is headed our way. We'll have one more turn it up moment there. Nice to see the American 777 getting a turn and burn there. Look at how much haze is in the air. I don't know why it's so hazy today. Had a lot of rain over the last couple of days. That could be part of it. Very, very hazy. Really throwing me off here. The quality. Hopefully the quality of the show looks very good. Again, Air France making their way over here in just a moment. They've already started their taxi. Got about 20 minutes left for that FedEx 767 arrival. Let's see if this American Eagle rotates really early like the last one did. Nope, no early rotation for this one. So Delta off to Tampa, Delta 1275. Beautiful looking Air France here.
American 1891, fly runway heading runway 5 left, clear for takeoff.
Not going to follow American 1891 out. We'll go a little ways with it, but we may have another turn and burn here for the 777. Enjoy the 777 here. You'll note the different sounds here. We've got the, again, the smaller GEs on board the Air France 777. camera very long there, Air France. Getting out of here a little bit lighter than our American 777. Lady Bandit, good evening. Happy spooky season to you. Getting to be that time, first day of October. That would be nice, Jay. That would be absolutely fantastic. All right. So we've got that FedEx 767 arrival here shortly. Again, I am about, like I said, 98% positive we're going to have a runway closure here. So come 7 o'clock. So that'll be our last heavy arrival. We need to check on Iceland. I think Iceland's going to arrive around 7:30. Yeah, everybody's already starting to come in over on the backside. FedEx won't. FedEx will stick with us. FedEx still 22 minutes away. Ramona gifting 5 Carolina Aviation memberships. Thank you so much to our good friend Ramona. Fiberglass, John, Tim, Michael, and Mike. All gifted from our wonderful friend Ramona. Thank you to Ramona. So we got the little CRJ starting up down here. Depending on what they do, we may stick around here for the sunset, of course. Again, 20 minutes left in FedEx's journey. Iceland still has about 40 minutes of flight time left. 38 so far. So we did have Frontier land a minute ago. They're coming down the hill now. So usually in the month of September, October, sometimes on into November, depending, they close the runways each day at around 7 p.m. after the heavies leave to do heavy maintenance on the runway over here. We went through this last year. I'm sure we'll go through it again, maybe not next year. But well, maybe, because I don't think our new runway will be done by next year. I don't foresee our new runway being done before 27, 28. Just my guess. But yeah, so the runway shuts down like middle of September, sometimes until middle of October, sometime November, on into November. But it's due to heavy maintenance. They take up sections and replace it, and just stuff like that. Mattman gifting 1 Carolina Aviation membership. Thank you for the support as always to Mattman, longtime viewer. Another wonderful friend of the channel here. Cindy D getting gifted that membership. The CRJ finally gets out of here. I say finally because they're so loud. Alright, so again, I don't know how many more arrivals we'll see over here this evening before they close this, but I know FedEx will definitely want to come in on this side, so they'll get here just before that closure. Again, if they don't rock this closure tonight, we'll be here, well, until the MD-11 departure. But again, I'm 98.8% positive they're going to shut this runway down. 102 likes. Thank you, Brian Lloyd, for that update. Make sure if you guys haven't yet, smash the like button. Please do so. Trying to get to 150 likes here before we end the day, which could be in 20 minutes or it could be at 9:30. Who knows? It's just whatever the airport decides they want to do. Again, if you guys would like me to stick around for the sunset, we can also do that as well, whether we have the planes or not. Shouldn't be too long after the closure for the sunset there. I do have several viewers who enjoy the sunsets. So we got an arrival, Endeavor 5322, coming in from Washington, D.C. via DCA. See which runway that one chooses. It looks like they're going to choose this side.
Raleigh Tower, Honda 10, Romeo Lima is visual for runway 5 right.
November 108, Romeo Lima, Raleigh Tower, runway 5 right, clear to land, wind 0609er.
What did he say? Man, he talks fast.
November 108, Romeo Lima, runway 5 right, clear to land.
There you
Clear to land 5 right, 10 Romeo Lima.
So another CRJ on final here.
Tower, helicopter 2470 Charlie, and signature with Fox.
40 minutes of flight time. By the time they get here, probably about 43 minutes, 42 minutes.
Raleigh Tower, go ahead. Like the far present position, directly south of the airspace.
Sounds like we got a helicopter.
Helicopter, 247 Golf Charlie, Juliet, taxiway clear for takeoff, cross runway 5 right, proceed southbound, wind 060 at 11. Clear for takeoff, cross runway 5 right.
Taking off over on the other side. All right, so we got that Delta up next. Jay's got a command center for the show. I know, I really appreciate you guys watching the show on your TVs. That's what I strive to make this show really, really good for, was for 4K TVs. So hopefully you guys are able to enjoy it there on the big screens at home. Finally, the sun's hit a spot where this actually looking like a wonderful arrival.
Good, 1322 Road, runway 5 left, cleared to land, wind 060 at 10.
Nice smooth arrival for the Delta. Minutes of flight time from DCA. Yeah, hopefully one of these days we'll be able to do 4K shows. If we can ever get the service working out here. $4K eats up a lot of data, and you're only allowed so much data. That's the only reason why we don't do 4K shows.
5322, Bravo to the ramp, contact ramp.
Data is expensive to try and reach and do 4K shows. Looks like Frontier's ready to go. The Flamingo. Looks like the jetway might still be attached there. So it looks like we got United up next, our next arrival. United 1322 coming in from Washington also, but they're coming in from Washington Dulles. Another 43-ish minute flight here. Yeah, there it is. There by air. Thank you. That's kind of what we're anticipating here. We're waiting on that 767, and then we'll do the sunset segment, and then we'll be done for the evening.
November 247 Golf Charlie, Central Advisory.
So if you guys enjoy the sunset, please make sure you stick around till the end of the show. That'll be our ending, whether we have planes or not. We have some ground action here, but no more arrivals or departures. Again, sadly, after 7 p.m. here. They may delay it depending on whether or not FedEx gets here in time. FedEx looks like they might be number 3. They're still 10 minutes out. So we still have a little bit of time left. But again, if you guys are just joining us and you haven't smashed the like button, please do so. You've got till sunset to get us to 150 likes, if you guys would.
Let's turn outside water ground one here, okay, wait.
As we get United from Washington Dulles. 43 minutes of flight time for this one as well. This is a 737. Surprisingly, I was expecting it to be an A319.
Southwest 276, flight heading 0355, right, clear for takeoff, 1060 at 9. Alright, clear for takeoff, right, clear for heading one more time, Southwest 276. 035. 035, Southwest.
And Flo the Flamingo's got beacons on. Looks like should be ready to go in a minute.
Takes at 679, Robert Tower, runway 5 right, line up and wait.
Well, this is 737-700, by the way. Again, a quick 43-minute hop. Which is funny, you figure 43 minutes takes 4 hours and 30 minutes to drive up there.
November 996, Foxtrot Golf, continue for runway 5 right, traffic in position.
Nice smooth arrival there for United. Yeah, David, they'll move everything over to the other side, unfortunately. And tonight, last Wednesday, we set up toward the end. You know, they're on the 5s, so them being on the 5s, I can't get a good arrival or departure shot of them being on the 5s. So I didn't want to try that again. We did that last week. So this week, we'll just go with it. Now, if they're on the 2-3s, I don't mind staying because it's a really nice clear shot. It's a pretty shot. A lot of good lighting when they're coming in on the 2-3s. But given the storm off the coast there, we're getting winds out of the north, meaning they're coming at us from the south, unfortunately. But he's doing all right, hanging out. He's probably mad because I haven't brought him out to the airport in a while. Straight facts. That dude loves to come to the airport with me. Sun gonna sit right there behind the clouds for a minute. Should be nice and clear for the actual sunset itself. As Flo the Flamingo is ready. Or do you... So, Jay, my moderators typically keep an eye out for folks that we want to make moderators. If you guys remember, I did make that announcement that we're kind of looking for some more moderators to be here. Don't really have to do anything special. You just got to stand out, you know. Be here as much as possible. You don't have to be here for every episode of the show. Being friendly and kind to viewers as well. I did, Jay, I did. And he's still no less of being mean. He's a little fella, but he is still mean. I think it has something to do with Buddy, though. I don't know. I think they're both males. Doesn't particularly work out too well with them. They seem to be okay for now. Hey, ooh, here we go. Good shot of FedEx 785 from Memphis. Thank you for the kind words, Jay, and thank you for being here and hanging out with us. Again, I don't have a set date or time for when we do moderators usually. And usually I sit and discuss it with our with our existing moderators. And Tony, you're correct. Bring me some barbecue for dinner. That greases the wheels with your host. Some good old barbecue. What's up, Tony? Good evening to you. Alan, good evening. So that's FedEx 785 coming in from Memphis, Tennessee. Looks like we've got Delta coming in from Atlanta. They're going to surprise us with their presence here.
3246 Raleigh Tower, runway 5 left, clear to land, wind 06.
And no worries, Alan. We don't mind. You guys that watch in the background are just as important as everybody who chats. To be honest, I know there are a lot of lurkers here. I do the same thing. I watch shows. I lurk in the background. I don't always make myself known. So, if you guys are lurkers and regular lurkers and, well, just casual lurkers, thank you guys so much for coming in and watching the show. Grateful that you guys have us on in the background, watching, listening. Background noise is basically how it is. I know a lot of folks have a lot of things to do. I know I sure do most of the time on the weekend. So if I put a show on, or what I like to do is when I'm at work, I'll put on a show and listen to it in my headphones. If something significant happens and I hop right on there, chit chat. But again, thank you to each and every one of you guys. Again, apologies for tonight, though. You know, the month, as I stated a minute ago, the month of September, October, possibly on into November. We don't know just yet. This runway closure really puts a wrench in all of our plans on Wednesday evenings. Because obviously tonight's a good night. Thank you, 131 folks watching tonight. I really appreciate that. I hate that we have to end the show early. But again, we are going to stay for the sunset regardless. So if you guys are into the sunset, we are going to check that out. And of course, we're not leaving until they shut the runway down, of course. So I mentioned Delta a moment ago. Delta 3246 coming in from Atlanta, Georgia. That one's going to be our next arrival here. Southwest going to go to the other side as Flo gets out of here. You can see we got a couple ready for departure. That sunset's getting ever closer. about 2 minutes before we get to the horizon here. On a nice clear evening like tonight, this is definitely by far the best part of the show in my opinion. Be able to give you guys this wonderful sunset here. Turn it over to Delta 3246 here for that arrival. Looks like we might have a Republic Airways coming in after this one unless it follows Southwest. So we won't have any more planes to focus on until FedEx. FedEx number 3. There's FedEx right there in the background behind our A321 from Atlanta.
Good evening, Raleigh, wind 0607, runway traffic to land number 2, following zone 1037 traffic, 4 miles out. 75184, Raleigh Tower, good evening, runway 5 left line is late.
Up on one plane there.
Alright guys, enjoy the rest of the sunset.
Right turn level 5, back to the parking via Bravo, contact train 5, Metro 796.
And thank you so much, Alan. I appreciate your likes. It really helps the channel out a lot.
84, Raleigh wind 0607, try not heading 035, 195 left, clear for takeoff.
Up 035, 5 left, clear for takeoff, 025.
Good night, Nelia. See you later. Thank you for tuning in. I know late for you. See the sun again tomorrow. Interesting turn of events here. We've got 20 likes left until the end of the show. FedEx.
184, contact departure. Good evening.
We've still got time, but FedEx looks like they're going to the other side. I'm going to try to do our best to still capture FedEx, being that it is the 767. Won't be a big capture, but we'll try our best.
Southwest 2296, let's turn Alpha 5, back to the parking via Alpha, monitor ground 121.9 airway, and have a nice evening.
No worries, Jay. Absolutely. I'm always happy to answer questions.
That was Western Alpha.
Sometimes I do miss some of you guys' messages.
2296, back to the parking via Alpha, and monitor ground 121.9. Have a good evening.
Monitor ground 121.9. Have a great one.
I try not to ignore you guys by any stretch of the imagination, for sure. Because without you guys, we wouldn't have a show. I don't know, the FedEx feeder will be sometime later. Again, I am going to try to get the 767 arrival. Here they are, unfortunately, coming around the other side. We do have an American Eagle, a Republic Airways 4804 coming in right now. So let's see if we can swing the camera around there and see what we're going to see for FedEx. As you saw, that pickup truck in the way there. So this is what we'll see of FedEx. definitely coming that way.
Tower, you have time for a question? Go for it. What's the reason for 5 left closing at this time?
I believe it's just a rubber removal.
Still wheels up for FedEx there.
Gotcha.
Somebody asking the question of what time the runway closure is, and it's already in progress. 7 o'clock on the dot, and they are rolling out on the runway here. Gear down for the 767. Look down, 7 p.m. on the dot, and they are rolling out on the runway out here. UN week? No, we haven't been to JFK. How does lightning happen? Who came with the word yo? Okay, alright, Tony. Love your enthusiasm, but I might need some Google or some Chat GPT for those. And you know what's really sad? There's a bunch of arrivals too right now. There are a ton of arrivals. 5 including FedEx. Iceland out there as well. Iceland downwind of us currently. Maybe we'll stay for that arrival of Iceland. Again, this will be all we catch of the arrivals. 1081. So we lose it there because of that truck. So talking about Iceland, Iceland number 5 in line. There's Iceland. What do you guys think? You think we stay for Iceland's arrival here, and then we call it a night?
Number 2380 Charlie Raleigh, tower runway 5 right, line up and wait for traffic on a 5-mile final.
So, the party poopers there. Coming out to end our fun early. About 2.5 hours early here. So we'll stay for that Iceland arrival. After that, we'll end our evening of plane spotting. Again, they are... See, there's 6 arrivals, including FedEx. 6 arrivals, unfortunately. The FedEx 767, I don't know if it's going to come down the hill here. We might be able to capture that. I don't know if it's coming down this way or if it's going to go to the far end and go down the taxiway over there.
Number 80 Charlie Valley Wind 050 at 6, fly the runway heading, runway 5 right.
Same, Alan, same. I'm ecstatic about Aer Lingus, just not thrilled for the XLR. So there they go, they disperse, leaving them. Gonna keep an eye out. We're gonna sit with Delta for a moment here while I keep an eye out for FedEx. Nope, FedEx went all the way down. They're going to go down between the, terminal. The General Ave terminal. What happens in there? I don't know. That's the question. I have no idea. I was wondering that the other day when we were out here and they shut down the runway. It's like, what happens if they have to land on this runway? I'm sure I don't know. I don't think they could, obviously. They would kill people, but I'm sure there would be some serious consequences. Because you got workers down there, people on your plane. They're going to get all the international traffic straight. What do you mean? So Aer Lingus will land probably right about now. Just checking over the
Number 80 Charlie, we take the transponder
checking over their flight stuff. They're going to come right after our other international flights have dispersed. So there'll be a late evening arrival. So they'll be a lot like Iceland here. They'll be arriving after the big internationals. So the two gates that American and Air France, obviously not the D gate over here, but the two international gates that'll be needed over there will be wide open for Iceland as well as Aer Lingus next year. So this one right here is Delta. This is Endeavor 5232 coming in from LaGuardia. So we got Iceland number 3 for arrival. The camera does not like this shot right here. So it looks like we're going to have an American Eagle operated by Republic Airways. Republic Airways 4596 coming in from Nashville, Tennessee. Going to be that next arrival, then followed by ICE from Reykjavik. Ooh. Well, I have to say my top aircraft is probably the F-22 Raptor. 747, the A380. So those I would have to say are my top 3 that I've seen that are in use. I've also seen C-17s, of course.
4596, expect your clearance by 2 mile final. We'll expect this 2 mile record with 766. Number 5232, left turn, Alpha 4, right turn onto Alpha, contact ground 121.9, no delay on the runway, please.
Alpha 4, Alpha, no delay, Endeavor 32, ground.
And we're all av geeks here, but I don't know how many of you guys go along with it, but I'm more over the jet engines than I am the props. There are some really cool prop planes, don't get me wrong, but I just love the sound and the power of a jet engine.
4596, Raleigh wind 050 at 7.
I want to see the Antonov at some point. It comes to Kingston every once in a while. I need to get my butt out there and go check out the Antonov at some point.
We'll hold in position.
And of course we've seen Air Force One, Air Force Two here several times. Saw them in the same day, back to back. Ooh, Airbus or Boeing? That's a good question. I like the 777s, and I like the A350. I think between Boeing and Airbus, I think it would have to be a tie, honestly. Because I like the 747, I like the A380, I like the 777, I like the A350. I like the 737s over the A series, other than the A220. The A220 is the only one that I like as far as the smaller Airbus stuff goes. Don't get me wrong, the A319, A320s, they're nice. But something about the 737 in that class just looks better. The lower, it sits lower, the way the windows look, I don't know.
5 mile final, runway 5 right, line up and wait.
5 right, line up and wait.
All right, I'm going to have to go to manual here. This is our last plane of the evening. Try to get that in focus here for you guys. Again, Iceland, going to be our last one. Yeah, Alan, it really, you're absolutely correct. Usually, like last year when they were doing UN week, we weren't on the air very much. We slowed way down during UN week last week. Because even from our vantage point here in RDU, like there's everybody's watching UN week.
If you want, just want to verify 5 right, clear land.
They get a lot of folks that watch UN week, me included. I didn't watch any of their UN week this year. I was preoccupied with other things this week or last week.
Delta 508 Raleigh Tower, good evening. Continue to runway 5 right traffic. We'll hold in position.
Continue 5 right.
I watch more of our good and close friends than I do anybody else as far as aviation shows go.
American 1240 Raleigh Tower, good evening. Continue to runway 5 right traffic. We'll hold in position.
So there's Iceland. We'll capture them coming around the corner here. Try to get them going to the gate. While we wait on them to come around, show you guys what's going on down here on 5 left. As I got to put that back in auto. So once Iceland makes it to the gate, that'll be it. That'll be our show for tonight.
Good evening, good traffic, 5 mile final, runway 5 right, line up and wait.
Yeah, Tony, the A350 1000 is definitely very top of my list. That is one gorgeous airplane in my opinion. Absolutely a gorgeous plane in my opinion. The A380, just the sheer size, and it just amazes me how the A380 is able to carry its own weight through the air. It's just so massive. Thank you, Brian Lloyd, 144 likes. Not too many away from reaching our goal of 150. That'll be fantastic. We've been on the air almost 2 hours. 150 likes in 2 hours is absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys for smashing the like button. If you haven't yet, please do so. Let's get us to 150 before Iceland hits the gate.
Delta 508, traffic rolling, Raleigh wind 060 at 7, runway 5 right.
Now, I can tell you the one plane that is not a favorite of mine. Not that I don't like it, not that I hate it, but it's low on my list as far as airliners go. And some of you guys might hit me for this one, but the A330. I don't know what it is about the A330. And again, I'm not saying I don't like the A330. The A330 is a fantastic plane, but it looks weird. That's all I can say is it looks weird. The A340 almost looks the same, but the A340-600 is fantastic. Right? There's just something about the A340 or A330 though that it just looks weird. I don't know what it is. It just looks fat and I don't know. Just a couple things about that not a huge fan of the A330. I also noted that nobody mentioned the A330 there in their favorites list, by the way. So if I had to guess, I would say a bunch of you would agree with me. John Keller, good evening. Matthew, what's up? Day's going well? checking out our last plane here. Iceland coming down the hill here.
Roger, thank you.
Get them to the gate. I don't know that we'll actually see them head to the gate here. Unless they take the corner gate. I don't know where they're actually going tonight. Yeah, so Jay, they've started taking up, they've started construction, they're adding customs, more room for customs, and I think the new runway is going to be 10,600 and some change. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's going to be 10,600 feet long, if I remember correctly. They didn't get what they wanted. I think they were trying to go for 11,000 feet, and they told them no, if I remember correctly. All right, Iceland going to peek around the corner. They are going to kind of see them turn into the gate. So Iceland turns in. We got one more Marshall shot for you guys here for Delta. And then this will do it for the evening. Of course, the camera's going to focus on the light pole and not where we need it to. There we go. A little bit better. Did you hear it? I didn't see that. I haven't seen that yet. Thank you, Brian Lloyd. 151 likes. Thank you guys so much. Right here at the end of our show. You guys are absolutely amazing as always. So the final marshalling shots here for the evening. I don't know what to leave you guys with tonight. Some sunny clouds. How about that right there? We'll leave you guys with the sunny clouds there. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know it was a short show. I'm sorry about that. Again, the month of September, October, possibly into November is like this every year. So this is just something on the weekdays that we have to look forward to. That's part of what deterred us last year from doing 3 shows a week. Was the runway closures there toward the end. But then we found that Wednesday night seems to work the best for the show. More of you guys tune in on Wednesdays than any other day. We should be here on Sunday. We'll figure out what time later this week, of course. But again, thank you guys. Thank you to everybody who contributed today. Matt Man, Ramona, Miss Carolina, thank you guys, and congratulations to the 7 new members today. We shall see you guys again on Sunday. Hopefully one of these days we'll get our Saturdays in order. I'm booked out this coming Saturday and the next Saturday. I have to work 2 weeks from, or a week from next Saturday. So I keep telling you guys we're going to do some Saturday stuff. Anyway, we'll get there one day. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your night and enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you guys on Sunday. What happened? Ooh, somebody mentioned the plane run off the runway. Where was this? When was this? Mr. Avgeek, sorry I missed your question there. I haven't seen any run off the runway here lately. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Sorry, Mr. Avgeek, I didn't read your message in time, but hopefully you're still here. We'll see you again. See you guys Sunday. Have a good night. Thank you.